Australia podcast. I don't know what episode this is. I've got a backlog of podcasts waiting to be uploaded. So I'm just going to say this is the next podcast. And my guest at this time is former GBYWN Australian heavyweight champion. I can't remember if there's been any more accolades. I'm sure there has been something down the line. I'm talking to the one and only Rex Regum.
Oh, thank you, Aston.
Has there been something else that I missed?
Non-WZWA.
EBW?
I was like a 6-time heavyweight champion.
Oh my gosh.
I like shoot fight, mate. Just shoot fight it and win. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, who cares?
Lovely. Alright, so let's start from the top, as per usual. The first question I always ask everyone is how you got into wrestling.
Alright, easy question to answer. My poppy, who was 72 years old and just kicked stage 3 breast cancer in the arsehole, I will add. Yeah, basically, I used to hate wrestling when I was a kid. Like, up until the age of 10, pretty much, I hated it. I hated it, man. It used to do my head in, because all I wanted to do was just sit down and watch, like, Cartoon Network or some shit. Like, bring me Johnny Bravo. And my poppy would be sitting there watching, like, recorded episodes of SmackDown and shit like that.
Really?
And eventually, like, at one stage, for some reason, I just, like, really got into it. Like, the biggest thing I remember is literally when Ric Flair retired, I just started breaking down into tears and my poppy just giving me a hug. like, it's okay.
Oh, wow.
It's okay. Like, so, yeah,
shit.
Like, yeah, straight out, my poppy is, like, the reason I'm into wrestling. Just
Wow,
bang.
so he's a fan from way back, is he?
The biggest thing he hates at the moment is the way people are always kicking. He's like, that's not wrestling. That's not how you wrestle. Why don't they wrestle? Just, like, strikes. He hates the strikes. Yeah, he's definitely from way back. He's watched it since... He used to watch NWA, for fuck's sake. Like,
oh, really?
Would find tapes somehow and watch NWA. I don't know how. He's still got tapes of NWA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Very cool. So I guess, you got into wrestling from there. Your passion grew for it a little bit more. Did you then end up, finding out that you had friends who also liked wrestling?
No, actually, I had like no friends that wrestled whatsoever up until like high school. When I got to high school is when I met Jack Wallace's girlfriend, actually, who despised me, absolutely despised me. And then, like, I actually met Jack. This is when he was in year 7 as well.
Okay.
So before he was in high school. In primary school, I used to get bullied. Like, I'd pretend to be Triple H in school, and some kind of come up to me and be like, what the fuck are you doing? You still like wrestling? How much of a GV are you? Yeah.
Jeez, I didn't realise people thought that wrestling was for children. Like.
Yeah, like, even though they're 10 and 11 years old themselves, they're like, are you 6 years old? Seriously, are you for real? Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So you met Jack... hung out a bit.
The first time I ever met Jack was at a blue light disco, which is, for people overseas, is like a disco run by the police. So yeah, I met him there and like spoke to him, made a couple of jokes, and then when he started at high school, I didn't really talk to him much when he was in year 7. When he started high school, I used to come up to him every now and then and be like, hey man. And eventually he told me that he had a trampoline with ropes around it in his backyard.
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
they only had 2 ropes around the trampoline at that stage.
Oh, okay.
So I came over one day, just decided it'd be a good idea to go and have a bit of a wrestle, and yeah, it's just grown from there.
Okay, so you already had the trampoline before ABW.
Yeah, before ABW, Jack had a thing with Charlie Green, which was like UWF or something like that.
No, it was E and A.
There was 2. There was E and A and UWF, I think.
UWF was ICWS before.
Oh yeah. So it was like UWA then. It was something. It started with a U. I know.
Sorry, Jack, I've forgotten what it was.
It was UWA, Ultimate Wrestling Alliance.
Okay.
I think it was UWA. I can't remember. I can't remember. Yeah, but that was like years. That's like when Charlie Green and Jack is like 8 years old. So
ages and ages ago.
Beforehand. Yeah.
Lovely. Alright, well, so you guys start mucking around here and there. Whose idea is it to start up Australian Backyard Wrestling, ABW?
I think it was like a collective idea between Jack and I. It just happened, pretty much. Like, it just happened. Like, Jack was playing footy with Luke Monet. I had no idea who this little brown cunt was.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, just this nigger shows up. I was pulling the piss out of him with my mate Luke Harrop at that time. And
also known as Prides.
He was actually part of the company before Luke Monet was, surprisingly, because he came down once before Monet showed up.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and he didn't wrestle at all. I think he filmed, actually, on my iPod. And then, Luke Monet came along. Prides barely showed up, pulled the Jeff Hardy a few times. And then we had a few random people from our school join. And like it wasn't like a big commitment for them. They just like would show up whenever they felt like it. But for me, Jack and Luke, it was like full like boom, this is cool, we're awesome. But it was shockingly bad, like horrible wrestling.
But
and
you guys probably took it really seriously. We were like, this really loved it.
This is the most awesome shit on earth. It was quite.
I just think what would happen 5 or 6 years down the line is quite insane.
2 years down the line is when we got the ring.
That's there we go. Only 2 years, and who would have thought? So as ABW goes along, do you have any good memories of that era of your trampoline federation?
To be perfectly honest with you here, Carl, there weren't very many like brilliant memories from ABW. It was really quite shocking what went down there, and the amount of shit that Jack and I and Luke took at school was ridiculous. The amount of shit that we used to cop from everyone was and looking back on it, it's understandable, but it got to a point where Jack literally just deleted our channel, deleted all of the material we had. Didn't even ask me or Luke, and this is while ABW was still going on as well. Jack just went, fuck this shit, I'm deleting it, I have had enough of being bullied. And it was ridiculous,
such a shame,
man.
Because even if it is terrible,
all of that stuff's gone, man. All of that stuff's gone.
Well, luckily, I've still got some ABW, so
yeah. And I think Luke Monet actually started another ABW account. I think there's like 2 videos on that, but that's like lost in YouTube somewhere. So if you can find that shit, man, I'll commend you.
Well, I'll look as deep as I possibly can. So what brings ABW's demise, and what brings in EBW? Is it basically just a continuation with the new name?
Pretty much. Oh no. We closed our doors for ABW. That's what it was. For about a week, we're not doing this anymore. Then like a week later, if I remember correctly, about a week later, we were like, oh, Elite Backyard Wrestling. That's a cool name, but it started from there. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
all right, cool.
EBW was like run quite differently to ABW. ABW was pretty much. I had no idea what anything like wrestling was. I thought it was still like basically a shoot fight. So I used to just shoot fight every match in ABW. It was like,
because I heard that it was like you guys would let each other do moves to each other, but you would wait until one person was too tired to continue, and then he'd
pretty much. It was like whoever got tired the most at the end and gave up lost.
Okay, I see.
Because I had like brilliant stamina, I played elite soccer, was playing footy. I had like awesome stamina back then before I wasn't smoking ciggies or nothing, and like I would just go for hours. Like if these cunts wouldn't let me win, I'd just go and go and go. I remember at one point Luke Monet's first match he ever had was against me. I just beat the shit out of him the whole time, literally just laying the stiffest shots in.
I think he talked about that.
He would not let me win. And at one point I wasn't sure if it was this match or one like a little bit down the track where he was still brand new, but I ended up snapping the tissue in his arm during an arm bar because he wouldn't tap out, and I was like, fuck you, can't just snap. I heard something snap in his arm, and I went, oh fuck, what have I done? Like, this is supposed to be one of my mates, yet I'm shoot fighting.
Fucking hell. Alright, well that kind of reminds me of the Ocean Reef Wrestling Federation I had in 1999. We didn't really like shoot fight, but we wouldn't actually predetermine who the winner was going to be. It would just be like whoever ended up deciding that the other one should win, pretty much. So
yeah.
I know how you feel looking back and thinking of wrestling in that way, especially when you're first starting out. So EBW's rolling along. I have seen some footage online. What brings EBW's demise?
Well, there was a lot of things that brought EBW's demise. EBW ran for like twice, 3 times as long.
I'm sure there's more information.
We had ABW for about 6 to 8 months, and then EBW for close on 2 years.
Okay.
So like EBW was like completely different. Like we actually tried to book storylines, and they were all shit and never really came to fruition and stuff. But we all just went along with it and tried the best we could with 3 people in the fucking roster, using like 3 or 4 masked characters, 2 or 3 masked characters, but having like 3 or 4 characters each, wrestling 3 or 4 matches each every day that we were filming, and we were doing events every weekend at this point. Like Luke and I go over the Jacks on a Saturday, wrestle, and then on Sunday we'd all go to footy together and play footy.
Okay.
So but what really brought EBW's demise was a few different things. One was Jack and I like, we're at the point where we hated each other. Like, we refused to talk to each other. Nothing. Luke was trying to mediate between the two of us, and got to a point where I just went, fuck this, I'm not wrestling anymore. So I stopped wrestling. I ended up coming back after like 2 weeks, and I ended up becoming booker. Now I started booking a few matches about 2 weeks later. Luke, at the same time that Triple H is getting the vote of no confidence, at the same time that storyline's happening in WWE, Luke's decided that he's going to be I'm voting no confidence in your booking skills, Rex. So him and Jack both were like, nah, you're shit cunt. And Jack and I actually started off in like another argument in which like I left again. I was like, no, I've had enough of this shit. I can't be fucked dealing with it. Luke and Jack, this went for about a month to 2 months. Luke and Jack then did not have one show. So they had one show, which is right near the end of me joining again.
Excuse the rain, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this isn't too bad on the recording. But continue, Chris.
Yeah, so I believe Jack and Luke like don't have any more matches or anything like that. I finally come back, and then it just turns to shit again. And I think to myself, we need something new, we need to revamp it. And I go, posting the thread, and I was like, Warzone Wrestling Alliance. That sounds like a sick fucking name. Sounds awesome, why don't we turn it into that? And bang, Warzone Wrestling Alliance is born.
And WZWA is born. Okay, good. It's not showing that the rain itself is too loud, so I think we're doing okay.
Hopefully.
So WZWA is born. Basically, from what I've gathered, it still seems like it's pretty much like EBW.
Sorry. Just to backtrack quickly, yes. WZWA isn't actually born until we go to an NHPW show. We went to the NHPW show where Crackerjack was supposed... where Necro Butcher was supposed to face Homicide, but Homicide couldn't get to Australia, so it was Crackerjack versus Necro Butcher. And then from there, Dan Zeppelin messages me, and a few little messages backwards and forwards, and we talk about doing stuff with ICWS, and then I come up with the name WZWA.
Okay.
That's where it stemmed from. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah. Okay. First show that we went to, and Dan Zeppelin was on. I think he was video camera or just photographer. I can't remember exactly. But yeah. And then I get a random message out of the blue. I'm like, who the fuck is this cunt? Like, I don't know you. And yeah, it's just grown from there.
Gotcha. What led you to the name Shotgun?
The song Shotgun by Limp Bizkit.
Oh, okay.
That's what let me to it, because I was originally using that song, and there's a bit where it does the clock of the gun, and then it shoots a shotgun. It goes something to do with a shotgun, and I was like, okay, I'll use it as a theme song, and I like the name Shotgun.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Alright. Well, Shotgun's gone, Rex Regum is born. How do you come up with the name Rex Regum?
I typed in the King of Kings into Google Translate and translated it to Latin, and Latin is Rex Regum. Rex Regum is the Latin for the King of Kings.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic.
That is how I came up with it.
There you go.
I can't remember. Actually, some wrestler from EPW gave me the hint to go to Google Translate and just translate it to like Greek or Latin. Literally, like, just come up with a cool slogan, like the King of Kings or the Master of the Ring, and just change it to Latin or Greek. And that's what I did. I can't remember. I think it was Gorgeous Gary, actually, that told me to do that. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's Gorgeous Gary.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Alright, so WZWA is born. Who is put in charge of booking?
Jack Wallace is put in
charge. How are things going along? I know the first two shows are Backyard Wrestling 1 and 2, and then there's Hard Time.
Yeah, and then Ground Zero.
And then
we had the first Frostbite, which is with the ring.
So let's talk about the trampoline era.
Well,
in WZWA.
The trampoline era in WZWA was pretty much the same as EPW, except we had contact with ICWS and Tim McCloy. Fucking Team Justice, the Great Shinigami, whatever you want to call him. He was the first guy to come down to Ground Hard Time, I think it was. I can't remember exactly.
I think he was on one of the...
I think he was on Backyard Wrestling too, and then he was on Hard Time as well. Yeah. But I definitely remember his match. Oh yeah, Backyard Wrestling 2, he faced Antilochus Jacob, and then he faced Jack at Hard Time. But pretty much... that was our first connection with ICWS guys, and I remember when I first joined the ICWS thread, everyone was just pulling the piss out of us so much, and like even giving Tim and Lo like shit for coming to our events, and it was pretty much. I think you guys knew that we were just doing it for the passion, but you just wanted to bring your guys up, like I don't know if it's right to say that you're making yourself feel better about the yourselves, but it sort of felt that way.
Oh, I don't even remember saying anything. I don't even think I was.
Right, the worst people were like DJ was in our wrestling thread as well. DJ was in our thread before he'd even joined, giving us feedback, and he was like the two-faced motherfucker, biggest two-face ever. He'd be like, "Oh, boys, I thought your show was really brilliant. You can improve on this. You can improve on this." And then in the ICWS thread, it's just like, "Fuck, mate, that's the worst piece of shit I've ever seen."
Gotcha.
Yeah, and
how did you get in touch with Tim, Justice, and Lowe?
I have no idea. That's a question for Jack.
Okay.
That is a question for Jack. Because I had contact... Dan Zeppelin messaged me, and then I started a group conversation with Jack, Dan Zeppelin, and myself, and then basically Jack took over from there. I didn't really know too much about ICWS. Jack was the one that got the invite to ICWS, so I didn't even end up going to an ICWS event for like 3-4 months until after they'd already been to a show.
Yeah. Because
I had been grounded and my dad's birthday and all these different types of things that were shown. And the trampoline, it's kind of nostalgic when you look back at it, because it was shit. It was utterly horrible, but because it was part of like your teenage years, like your mid-teenage years, it's just something that like you look back on with fond memories. And
of course.
I actually miss wrestling in the trampoline to a degree, to a small degree. Like, it's not like, oh, fuck this ring, like, Noel should have never got the ring.
They're your humble beginnings, you know.
Yeah, like, it's like everyone has to start
somewhere. You know, and now sometimes when I look on the footage, kind of cringe a little bit because of the bouncing of the trampoline. But if you hold it on its own merits and you just remember how fun it was at the time, then you can get past it.
Yeah, I think that's why we continued for so long. Is like we were getting like viciously bullied, I'm not too sure about Jack, but I had like 10 people at one stage in my soccer class laying into me in the fucking toilet room. No shit, right? Like literally. And I'm not saying that this is all because of wrestling, like it's because of me as well. But the fact that we're here now is amazing, because I thought when Jack deleted the ABW page, that was it. Like, no more. We're not going to be wrestling anymore. And the trampoline era was right at the end of the trampoline era, before we got the ring, was what really sort of like pushed us. Is like, fucking, we need a base at least. And I think what actually got us the ring was Jack said to Noel, his dad, can we build a base in the backyard? Go and get some tyres from a scrapyard, some wood, and build a base. And I was like, fuck that shit, we'll just get a ring. So yeah, boom.
How did Dan Zeppelin know how to contact you?
I have no idea. It was a message out of the blue. I think maybe because I was on the NHPW page and I was messaging it, and because like Jack, myself, Luke and Jacob, because this is when Jacob had joined. Jacob had joined right at the end. I think the last episode of EPW we ever did before we changed the name.
Okay, gotcha.
That's when Jacob joined. So yeah, we were all at this NHPW show, and we were just heckling the shit out of the wrestlers. And I think that it caught Dan Zeppelin's attention. This was the first Samu Legacy Cup that they had. They're heading the Samu Legacy Cup at NHPW, and Jay Taylor and AZ Vergara were still a tag team, and JT tried to jump into the ring and he tripped up over the ropes, and I just started going, you fucked up, and he turns around and he goes, so did your parents. And yeah, so
there must be a book of comebacks for our pro wrestlers.
Most definitely. 'Cause, like, they can't just turn around and be like, your parents fucked up. He's like, so did your parents.
Yeah.
So I think mainly, I don't think if we were as loud as we were, Dan Zeppelin would have been just like, just random fans. But because we were so vocal, so loud, and then we're like, after the show, we tried to get backstage, didn't happen. So we just went downstairs, because this is John Forrest Gymnasium, John Forrest Senior College or whatever it is. So we went downstairs to like this little area that's fenced off, and down there is fucking Crackerjack and Necro Butcher. Yeah, so we start talking to them, and Necro finishes his drink and fucks off back inside after saying, hey boys. And then Crackerjack just stand there for like 2 hours talking to us. Like,
cool.
No shit. Like, I called my mum up like halfway through this conversation, being like, yeah, the show's finished. And like, still took another 45 minutes for her to get there, and like, cool. So we're just talking to him for ages, man. And like, it was just awesome. And I think, because after that show, this is when Dan Zeppelin's dating Hayley still, I'm pretty sure that Crackerjack or Necro, I can't remember which one, actually stayed at Haley's house.
Oh yeah, because her older brother wrestled for an HPW.
Yeah. So I think maybe that might have had something to do with it. Like maybe I'm like, that's the best I can think of
Just
for how Dan Zeppelin knew who the fuck we were.
Okay.
So yeah.
So when you find out that the ring is getting made, at first you think this isn't going to happen. There's no way.
No, I knew it was going to happen.
You definitely believe it immediately?
Like, if Noel says something's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Because the amount of times in backyard wrestling I heard someone say we're going to build a ring, and then it never happened.
Yeah, but the reason I believed it is because it wasn't Jack that said we're getting a ring. It was Noel that said we're getting a ring. Gotcha. And if Noel says something, he's not going to turn around and be like, nah, I was just pulling your leg. Something that serious, that caliber. He knows how much wrestling means to the boys. So like, he's not going to just go, yeah, I'm getting a ring, and then a month later going, nah, I was pulling your leg, boys. Like, he knows that would just crush us, just destroy us. So like the fact that he actually looked into buying a ring, and it was like $6,500, I think, for the actual ring. But the import fee was $1,500. So Noel went, fuck that. I'm not paying the $1,500 import fee. So it ended up costing him $15,000 to get one built himself.
But, you know, I think it's served us pretty well, that ring.
Oh, most definitely.
And it's so nice to land in, like, in comparison to a pro ring.
God,
if we got
man.
a pro ring, man.
I've bumped... I think the only ring I haven't bumped is actually EPW's. Yeah, EPW's ring is the only ring I haven't bumped. And, oh my God, it's like a cloud. Our ring. It's beautiful.
It doesn't hurt.
Like,
even you bump, it doesn't hurt. Unless you slide between the mattresses and hit the wooden.
Oh yeah, but
that was only
even the Shark from AEW was like, that is the best thing I've ever landed on. Ever.
Yeah,
it was.
AEW's ring was.
Oh man, that thing is a piece of shit. Not as bad as an HPW's, but still pretty bad.
Oh yeah. All right, so around this time, you know, you guys are in touch with ICWS. There was a showcase match between Jack and Antilochus on an ICWS show. So there was interest between the two sides at the time, and then you guys had mentioned there was going to be a ring.
Yeah.
So as we're heading towards the first show with the ring, it appears there are some problems between you and Jack. I don't know. I think it might have been overbooking. I'm not sure, but it might have been something personal as well.
I really cannot remember that. I'm trying, but
it was what
I remember. I remember with like us having a bit of an issue, but I can't actually remember what it was over. There was
a stage where you were saying you were quitting.
There's been like 5 stages when that's happened with me, but no, I remember what happened. I just can't remember why it happened. I think it was along the lines that Tim was supposed to win the championship, the heavyweight championship off of Jack, and I was thinking to myself, what the fuck? I'm pretty sure. Now it remembers me. It was all over the fact that he was going to give Tim, who'd been at our shows twice, had 2 matches, one against Jacob, which he lost, and then one against Jack, which he won, and that meant that he was going to win the title at the next show, which I thought was horse shit. This is when we'd actually consider, like, it wasn't just me shoot fighting every match, like, I'm going to win, I'm going to win. This had changed. This is now, you had to work up to that point to win that, and I was going out there. Jacob and I were just fucking destroying it. We were putting on matches that were tenfold better than anything we'd ever done, Jacob and I. And then, out of the blue, Tim comes along, and because Tim was from ICWS or with EPW at that time, or whatever, he instantly got the shot, and I was like, that is horse shit. Should not be happening. And this isn't against Tim or anything, it's just he was a newbie in our company. Like, we weren't going to ICWS, and Chris Zeppelin and DJ weren't turning around and going, oh, fucking Luke, he's a sick cunt, let's give him the championship.
Yeah.
You know, that, like, so just sort of along those similar lines, I think. Like, it's still a little bit blurry, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the main reason why we had the beef. That and the fact that Jack was just rather, I will say that he was immature and I was an egotistical prick. He was just like really immature, and my ego was just like through the roof. Like, we'd start arguing over stupid shit. Like, I'd make a joke in the thread about Jack's weight, and then Jack would instantly come back with something more hurtful, like trying to hurt me more, like, you know what I mean? And it's like the one-upmanship wasn't just in the ring; it was like the one-upmanship was at school, was at, you know, everything to do with it. And like from my perspective, it was like, fuck, cunt, you're getting a ring built for you. Like, what the fuck do I have?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, in hindsight, it's like stupid. It was just a stupid thing that happened.
Stuff,
yeah, but like at the time, it was like, fuck this man. This guy's screwing me over. I built this company with him. Why is this other person getting a shot?
Title.
Yeah.
So it goes from there to suddenly now I'm in charge. Jack and I speak about it, and I'm like, maybe you guys need someone in charge that's done it a little bit before, and then like it might be easier for you guys to get along. And then I was like, the first thing we need to do is make sure that we can get Chris back on board, because it wouldn't be good to have him leave so early. Before the ring had even rocked up, you know.
I remember what you did to get me back involved as well. Your idea was I'm just going to do commentary. I'm not going to wrestle. I'm not going to wrestle at all. I'm just going to do commentary, and every match you have I'm just going to talk shit about you. And then it eventually leads to like us facing off in the ring, and I deck you, and then it leads to like a big match.
It was going to be about like you calling me out, and stuff.
Like,
and then I'd talk a bit of smack on the
commentary. And to begin with, like, I had no problem with that at all. Like, can't really remember what caused so much beef between us. I think it might have had something to do with Eli. I'm really not too sure, but I do realise that like that's what's got me into it. And then I was sort of like under the impression like, oh no, here comes another Jack with the booking, which is, I think I got really resistant with you with like anything you're saying to me. Like, no cunt, you're not doing this. I'm in charge. You know, it's sort of like when your mum marries your stepdad or something like that.
Yeah, and they come
you instantly are like, what are you cunt? Like, I'm the man of the house. Who are you?
No, I understand.
I think it's like similar to that sort of like line of thought.
Yeah, that was the general idea when I first started, but then I changed my tune, and I was like, I'd like to probably have a bit of a wrestle, you know, because I was assuming that ICWS would be where I'd wrestle, and WZWA would be where I'd just do the behind-the-scenes stuff, but it looked like a lot of fun. I wasn't at Frostbite, but I booked it. And the match that was on the card for you
was me versus Jacob versus Luke.
You got it for the Backyard Championship elimination match. We're finally getting into the nitty-gritty of a match here. So your first match in a ring with those two, how do you feel it went?
I thought it went awesome. I'd just like to make the point at the beginning of the match. I came out and slapped ice. Never do that. Never, ever, ever slap ice in your entrance.
Was he in the crowd?
Yeah, he was in the crowd and I slapped him.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so the first point there, don't slap ice, because he punched me in his entrance. Right in the jaw. Bang, take that cunt.
Shit.
Yeah, it didn't hurt that much, but still it was like a nice little receipt. I thought the match went really well for like the caliber of wrestler that we all were at that point. Probably like the biggest thing that was bad about it was like after the match I decided that I was just going to bash both of them because I'd just been eliminated, and I ended up putting this sign up against Jacob, and I drop kicked it and injured him somehow. So for the rest of the match that he was versing Luke, Jacob was injured.
Gotcha.
Because I decided for some random reason I was just going to attack both of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Jacob ends up coming up with the victory, becoming the first ever Backyard Champion. And then the following show, I believe you are booked to face Chaos.
No,
I
was
Road to Ruin.
No, I was. No, you are right. I was booked to face Chaos,
but he couldn't make it.
He didn't show up, so I ended up facing Ice.
Yes. So you issued a contest.
I am issuing a contest. Yes.
To face me 1-on-1. Out comes Dark Ice. Boom. Your second match in a ring. You're having a hell of a death match. Well, I guess we called it a hardcore match, but maybe it was a death match between you and Dark Ice. What a match, man. And, you know, you took a lot of punishment, and I think you went out there with something to prove.
Most definitely. At this point, I was not getting on well with you. I was not getting on well with Jack. I think like the only person I was actually getting on with at that point was DJ. Like, legitimately, it was DJ, because DJ would just be messaging me, be like, "Oh, I don't think anything of the other boys. I think you're hilarious," and all this shit. So I'm pretty sure like the only person I was like had anything to do with was DJ. And leading up to this match, we'd gone to a schwa show. This is like before he'd even wrestled at ICWS as well. Gone to Australia.
Oh, yeah.
And Luke and I were both heckling DJ. This is when he was fucking, what was it? Gene Sharp.
Gene
He was
Sharp.
Gene Sharp, right?
Manager.
And as soon as Gene Sharp comes out, Luke and I are both like, that's fucking
Declan Diamond?
Declan Diamond. That's what we started chanting. Declan Diamond, all this shit, right? And then Luke and Chaos are sitting behind us, right? Ice and Chaos are sitting right behind us. We didn't even know that they were sitting right behind us, and they're just yelling shit at us and stomping their feet and looking angry, right? And we're like, oh fuck! And then intermission comes along, all right? And by this point, we're not heckling anymore. So intermissions come along, and we go outside, all right? And we're talking to Noel next to Noel's car, and then like we look over, and Ice and Chaos are standing right next to the door, both having a smoke. And as soon as they make eye contact with us, they just breathe the smoke out of their nose, and like instant enough to make a bunch of 15-year-olds fucking shit their pants, just shit their pants. Like these cunts are like twice the size of us combined.
Yeah,
you know, and like I really hadn't made good with them. At that point, like, I'd shaken Ice's hand and been like, no hard feelings and all that, but like, I wasn't friends, like, the caliber of friends I am now with them. Like, Chaos has lived with me for a year, so obviously not. It's gone into the match, I'm shitting my pants. Like, when I come out, I am visibly so nervous that I'm going into this match. But there's also in the back of my mind, there's like, all of these people have come along here thinking that, like, we're shit to a degree. Right, so I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to take so much shit, I'm going to do so much shit to this guy. I'm going to prove to all of these people why I am like someone to look out for, why I deserve to be right up the top of this company. And that's exactly what I went out and set out to do, and I think I did do it. Like, at this point, I didn't know how to bump properly at all either. I still have pains in my elbow because of that match. That's why I have two. That's why I have two elbow pads over my elbows, because of that match. I didn't know how to bump properly. I was landing on my elbow every bump. So yeah, like, I don't know, it's better now, but yeah. And so in that match, it was along the lines of, I have to prove to these people why I'm here. I am. I know how good I am, even though like I was shit at that stage. It was like an ego thing again, but I have to show each and every person here why I deserve to be at the top of that table, like the king. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotcha. So yeah, I don't think we were getting along very well at the time. I think it was just a clash of personalities, I suppose. You didn't know me, I didn't know you, and that's probably pretty much all there really was to it, to be perfectly honest. From there, you get a pretty big win early on in your WZWA career, in my opinion. You defeat Kilowatt Chaos in a death match, thanks to Dark Ice helping you out, forming a team with Dark Ice, which, as we know, lasted quite some time. So,
Black Card.
when you first found out that you were going to be teaming with Dark Ice, how did you feel?
I thought it was awesome.
Two shows in a row, 2 death matches.
Like, I thought that was amazing, man. Like, I'm pretty sure that was after Stairway to Hell.
Nah, that was the next one.
No, that's the next one. That after that is when I asked you to stop putting me in the hardcore matches.
Gotcha, okay.
I asked you to not put me in the hardcore matches, but I was, when Dark Ice and I joined together, I thought it was amazing. Like, when we came together, it was pretty much like me as a nobody coming together with someone who has such a reputation and such respect. It just elevated me to another level instantly. Instantly brought me up. Instantly made me like known within the GBYWN for one, but actually getting feedback on my videos now when I was posting them in the thread. And not only that, but I'd say that humbly I'm more knowledgeable about wrestling now than what Ice is. But back then, Ice was tenfolds above me, most definitely. And the whole idea of mentor-protege sort of storyline going on there definitely elevated me. It brought another level out of me. And also that, but even from the storyline perspective, you know that someone's got your back, like from the storyline perspective, you know, because when you're in that ring, like, you feel everything that happens to you. It's not fake to you whatsoever, because you're taking fucking chair shots, you're taking bumps through ladders, bumps through tables. Every impact that you have in that ring takes something out of you. And just even from a wrestler, you believe what's happening to you because it's happening to you, and just the idea, even in a fake sport, of someone having you back is reassuring to a degree.
Gotcha. I think putting you together was just I wanted you to be under the learning tree of Dark Ice to, I guess, with him being there and being somewhat in a mentor position, it might help chill you out a little bit as far as it came to dealing with me and dealing with other people. He might, be a voice of reason for you. I thought it might help you out, not only in the wrestling aspect, but also behind the scenes. So from there, I want to switch over to ICWS.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just going to talk straight up rest of your ICWS career here. I think around this time was when you finally jumped over to do some ICWS shows.
Yeah.
Might be getting the timeline a little bit wrong, but that's okay. So you make your debut match against Antilochus. I'm not sure what show it's at.
I think it was Halloween Hell or the one before Halloween Hell. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And great match, obviously.
Yeah.
And
really pissed off that it got deleted, then I'll never get to see it.
Yeah, that was a shame. But in saying that, very good debut. What was it like wrestling on a base for the first time?
Oh, I loved it, man. Like wrestling in a ring and wrestling in a base are two completely different things. Like, for one, in a ring you have so much more environment. You got the top rope, you got the ropes. There's so much more to do. When you're on the base, you don't have any of that. It's back to basics. Just pure simple things. Not only that, you don't have the space of the ring, so you're not as far away from your opponent as when you're in the ring.
Yeah.
So it's just constant, just consistent. On each other, like you're consistently working each other, and then not only that, but you're able to take bumps off of the base onto the ground without like falling a meter. It's just 30 centimeters. Yeah. So you're able to do stuff like that, and I think that because the production value of ICWS is not as much to set up, you're not worrying about electricity and all that. It's just, you got the speakers, a few chairs, and the bass. That is it. So you're not worrying about the production side, because at this point I was the first person at the shows. I was setting up nearly everything by myself.
Yeah,
like with help from Tim, help from Ryan. That's about it. So I was feeling really burnt out with WZWA, even though we'd only had a few shows. I was feeling burnt out already, feeling like I'm the only cunt that cares. I'm the only cunt doing anything. So going to ICWS, it was just such a relief. You just show up, you'd wrestle, you'd leave. That's it. It's just such a relief.
It was good times. So from there is a rematch with Antilochus, which spawns a handshake, which spawns a tag team. Whose idea was it to form a tag team?
I think it was a mutual idea, because this is at the same time that Rebellion had been formed.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so there's like the beginning of Rebellion had been formed, and Jacob and I had always talked about tagging, but Jacob had become really good friends with Lo and pitched the idea with you, and boom, it already happened in WZWA. So the only other place it was going to happen was ICWS. Yeah. So Jacob and I basically turned around to Chris. DJ. DJ was booking at this time. This is when Chris had phased out of ICWS.
Gotcha.
So we basically turned to him and went, "Look, cunt, we don't care what you say. This is happening." And DJ was like, "Oh, yeah, all right. I guess so." So we ended up forming the tag team, and the event after, when we had the tag team match against the franchise, or high octane. Yep. They're both 97 octane. Yep. Yeah. At top notch there. So we had that little match with them, and then we cut a promo backstage, and then I think like literally ICWS was like pretty much dead from that point onwards. At the Z Arena. I'm pretty sure we only had 2 events after that, which was
pretty sure that was correct as Twisted Metal 2013. Yeah, it had been about 6 or 7 months since the previous show when you guys did wrestle that tag match, but you faced me in what many believed was is that right?
I did face you.
Right.
Yeah, I faced you
right.
after
that was after I'd fallen off the top rope.
Yep.
So You faced me in what many thought at the time was my last ICWS match, but I thought we had a hell of a match.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I love that match, but the only thing that really pisses me off about that match is when you turn around and say to me, I'm calling the match, bro, my back is really sore. When you don't even have a fucking injury or anything.
I still had a sore back, it wasn't career-threatening.
You're still just working the fucking gimmick. And just stuffed me over.
No,
I even said to you, I was like, do you want to do the outsider's edge, man? And I was like, your back's fucked. Like, do you want to lift me? And you're like, I'll be able to do it, man. Like, it's my last match. Like, even if I hurt myself, I'll still do it. Oh man, what a work! What a work! Like, it was our first time facing each other.
I thought we did really well in that match.
Really good match, really well worked. But yeah, the overall thought of that is just me when we finally figure out that you were just all screwing us over. It's just me going, oh, you fucking prick. We could have gone for another 20 minutes.
The next match that you do have, I will save for the WZWA section, as it's a part of a very important weekend for the Australian Championship that you did eventually win. But I will now want to talk about recent stuff about the return of ICWS in 2015. So we had Thug Life. On the show, you wrestled Ryan Tate and Blade Shaw for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Thoughts and memories on the match earlier this year?
Okay, first of all, I really had no idea what I was doing in ICWS. It's the next event that I actually come out with my gimmick. I'm now carrying on with ICWS. For that match, I was coming out. I returns with my Corn theme song, which was very well known from the early WZWA days. It was like my theme song for a year and a half almost.
Yeah.
So I return with that theme song, go out, have a nice, sweet little match with Blade Shaw. And Blade actually told me today that apparently I almost knocked him out in that match when I kicked him in the back of the head. Apparently I almost knocked him out. So that's what resonates at the moment because Blade told me today.
Yeah.
But what I think of that match is that Blade shouldn't have got pinned. That's the biggest thought that I have. Blade's already out. Ryan then gives me his finisher, and then Ryan pins Blade, even though Blade's had an extra 10 seconds to recoup. That's the biggest thought. Like, the match as a whole is brilliant. It's perfect. Like, as good of a match as you could ask for. Like,
I thought in his debut he should have maybe not got pinned.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Debut.
It's exactly.
No.
It was Blade's debut.
Someone else, but
Yeah. Right when Ryan super kicked me, Ryan should have pinned me straight after he super kicked me. But as it happened, he pinned Blade. Still the same outcome. But I think, like, if you're going to be really nitpicking and split hairs, the proper way was like, I get pinned. I now have a reason to be a bad guy as well because, I've actually been physically pinned.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think the match as a whole was really good. But the one little thing that I have wrong with it is that I should have got pinned and not Blade, because then Blade also can turn around and come out the next show doing his the attorney. Oh, was it? No, it's not the law. The law, Blade Shaw. Yeah, that's it. I think he's sort of doing the American gimmick that he did today in WZWA. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's what he's going with at ICWS. But yeah, it was his debut. He shouldn't have got pinned, but the match as a whole is really, really good. Like,
cool.
There's no real faults in the match itself.
Good. The next show that takes place is a random show that's just thrown together. It's a tournament show for the see who gets a shot at Ryan Tate and the junior heavyweight title. But also on the show you do wrestle Dark Ice in another singles match, I believe.
No, Dark Ice faced Dan Zeppelin that show.
No, Dark Ice faced Dan Zeppelin at Thug Life for the #1 contendership, and then at, I believe, called All About That Bass, you and Ice had a singles match after you were in the tournament. I'm positive there was a singles match between you two. Do you not remember it?
No, because... Alright, okay. The event before, I had the 3-way and then the first DJ in the singles match as well at that show.
That's correct.
Which is me versus DJ number 3 at that show. And then the show after the opening match was Dark Ice versus Dan Zeppelin, because Ice is announcing the tournament. No, I am wrong. Yeah. No, I didn't face Ice, so I can't remember who I faced now. Jeez.
You did wrestle Monet There was a whole bunch. Anyway, what did you think of the show as a whole? It was a tournament and all that.
I'm trying to remember. Because the tournament itself was good. That was the way Ryan sells himself was pretty good. But who...
I know Tim wrestled on the show against DJ. I'm positive you wrestled Monet in the finals of the tournament to see faces Ryan.
Yeah, I know I lost to Luke, but I won my first match. I'm pretty sure it wasn't against ISA. Honestly, I cannot remember at the moment.
That's all right.
Yeah,
but anyway, you enjoyed the show.
Yeah, that's pretty much as I can say. I enjoyed the show.
Okay, no worries. So, what brings on this new gimmick that you begin?
Well, okay, I'm very politically involved. Okay, I'm a part of the Labour Party. I consider myself a democratic socialist, as it is. That's the way my political stance is. If you have a problem with this Anthony husband, too bad.
He won't be listening.
He won't. No, but probably not. But the main thought that brought it on was DJ and I were talking about the Russian Revolution, and he knows that I'm very interested in Karl Marx, Vladimir Lenin, all that sort of thing. He turns around and goes, "Why don't you be a political activist trying to cause a revolution within the ICWS?" And I go, "That's awesome. No worries. I'll come out there. I'll be the bad guy because the common conception is that communism is bad, so it's easy to work off of that. I just come out there going, you're the bourgeoisie, I'm the proletariat, I'm trying to create a revolution, no one understands what I'm saying, instant hate."
Yeah,
fantastic. So it's brilliant. That's the best thing about it, is because nobody understands what I'm saying, so it's just so easy to hate. It's easy to hate something you don't understand.
Exactly, and that's what tends to happen when there's something people don't understand. Their first instinct is to hate.
Yeah.
Following show, the recent show, you wrestled Chaos in the main event for
yep.
the ICWS Championship. So you've gone from 3 years prior, debut match against Antilochus, and then 3 years later you main event an ICWS show against Kilowatt Chaos. How do you think it went? Did you think it was confusing having a heel versus heel?
I honestly believe... Okay, I can't remember. What was the event that we had, which was just a makeshift event? It was Lana's Ass, or was it Rampage?
Lana's Ass.
Lana's Ass, okay. I think besides the Lana's Ass match that I had with Chaos, ICWS match is the best one we've had. And I think I've versed Chaos 5 times now.
Okay.
So 5 times single matches.
Yeah.
I think there's been 7 times with Jacob involved once and then someone else involved the other time. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. But I loved it. It was brilliant. Like, Chaos is literally quite scared before the match. He's feeling quite down about his wrestling at the moment, and he was not in the right mindset going into the match. I turned around and just said to him, "Look, mate, like, we've lived together. We know each other. We're really good friends. You don't have anything to be scared about. You know I'll protect you. I know you'll protect me. We could go out there and we'll tear the house down." And we tore the house down. There's one fuck up in the entire match, which is when Chaos is selling on the outside, hiding behind the ladder. Either side, I'm just going to drop kick him through the ladder, and I end up kicking him straight in his dick.
Right.
and I'm like, oh no, it's a low blow, all good.
Yeah.
yeah. But no, the match was pretty good. I think it would have been better if I won. Yeah,
obviously.
Obviously, that's the way it goes.
So one thing I did want to touch on before we get back to WZWA is coming in so late into the ICWS's time as a federation, you kind of missed out on the boom period of the early 2012, 2011 era that we had, which was just so phenomenal at the time. Do you... look back and wish it would have been great to have been there back then?
Definitely, yeah. I've seen like pretty much all of ICWS's stuff anyway, because like after Dan Zeppelin messaged me, like right in the beginning, I explored all of their channel, and some of the stuff that was happening was just amazing. Like, we never really had proper storylines in EBW or ABW. Like, we tried, but not really. And then like you go and watch ICWS and you think, fuck, we're not the only ones in Western Australia or even Australia at this time doing it. Like you're like, we're not the only ones. Like, thank God there's someone else that's there. And like, if we'd known about them earlier, oh my God, like we would have been on that straight away. But you know,
that would have helped tenfold. I think.
Yeah. But the fact is that we found out about it after this boom period anyway. So you know, it was just never going to happen. But to look back and to think like, you wish you there's definitely I know that Luke, Jacob, Jack feel the same, that we all wish that we could have been there for that. We all wish that we were there to see it firsthand. Not the XCW invasion, like just to sit there and watch like Diffuser actually wrestle a match. It's definitely something that like you feel like you missed out on.
Yeah. All right, so we're already 49 minutes into it, so we'll get back to a bit of WZWA. We'll probably go for about an hour and a half for part one. Back to WZWA, we're heading towards Hostile Backyard Showdown 2012, the match of the year, Stairway to Hell 1, Rex Regum, Antilochus, Kilowatt Chaos. Before this show was happening, this match wasn't even on the card. It was supposed to be a Stairway to Hell match between Chaos and Ice to end their feud.
Yes.
But Ice came down with his psoriasis issues, so that wasn't to be. So first of all, speak about how you feel about what was taking place with your tag team partner and his medical issues, and also your thoughts on your match of the year with Antilochus and Kilowatt Chaos.
But before the match takes place, I actually cut a promo for leading Ice to come out to the ring, talking about his issues and all that before the match, and you can visibly see that like I am actually like not happy. Like this isn't kayfabe. I'm not trying to be in a character. I literally come out there and I'm like, I have some serious words I need to say. Like, my mate, he's fucked. He can't wrestle anymore. This is the end. Goodbye. All that type of shit. Ice comes out, cuts his promo. Everyone's sad. And then Chaos, the motherfucker, comes out wearing his Joker face paint. This theme song playing. And he comes out rubbing his eyes going, wah. Fucking, And that just set the tone straight away for match of the fucking year. Like, I don't think we planned anything. We didn't plan anything for that match except for like the table spot which Chaos gets set on fire.
Yes,
we planned that, which was that spot was actually supposed to happen before we even got the barbed wire down.
Gotcha.
That spot was supposed to happen before we even got the barbed wire down. So I'm really glad that we didn't do the spot before we got the barbed wire down. But like pretty much the only thing that we said was like we're going to make it like Money in the Bank. So every time we're trying to go for it, we're going to just cut each other off and the flame spot. So those are like the only things we planned. We go into the match, and it's just fucking brutality, left, right, and centre. There's one point where I'm kicking Chaos. He's facing the corner. I'm kicking in his back. He goes to bump, and he just lands neck first on the fucking ladder.
That's right.
Doof. And you see on the camera me just instantly hold my face like, oh, fuck, I just broke this cunt's neck. Shit. It was brutal, and like, us all being at the point we were in our careers, like, I'd never even taken a proper bump before this, like legitimately. Jacob had done even less wrestling than I had. Chaos was just someone who was known for just beating the shit out of someone. So to go into that match and just pull off what we did, it was like it's like catching fucking, I don't know, what were you?
Lightning in a bottle?
Yeah, catching lightning in a bottle, there you go.
Gotcha.
Like, you will never be able to recreate that match, never be able to recreate the feeling that the crowd was having during that match. Like, everyone was like, holy shit, like, we were not expecting this. And then I'm pretty sure that, like, because we had that great of a Stairway to Hell match, that's why Stairway to Hell is like an annual event.
Yeah, now it's an annual thing. But instead, now we've moved it onto Hardcore Hell because it
makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, it makes more sense. After that, I believe it's WZWA Revenge. So not only is this show infamous for, at the time, what we thought was Dark Ice's last ever backyard wrestling match, but a storyline between you and Ryan Tate begins. So Ryan Tate's just done this feud with Mykonos, built on gaining Mykonos' respect, and now it's about beating respect out of you.
Into it. Beating respect into me.
Beating respect into you.
Yep.
First of all, your first match with Ryan, and from there, obviously, Ice's last match as we thought it was going to be.
First thing I'll say is that Ryan is one of my favourite people to face. He's so intense in the ring, and that's what I want. Okay, a lot of people in WZWA are scared of getting punched or getting hurt. Although the first people that pop in my head are Jack, Kyle, and Deacon and Steele. They're really just scared of getting hit, and it's a contact. We're doing a contact sport. You're going to get hit. So with Ryan is he's not afraid to lay it into you. He is not, and I love that type of shit. The intensity of our matches was brilliant. The heat I was getting for my attacks on his girlfriend Lily, who is, I will mention, is a lovely person. I love her to bits. It was just a storyline, But in the storyline, I was just another turd to her, and it was just the amount of heat I was getting is brilliant. And the match itself at Revenge, which was before Christmas Carnage, Yes. It was awesome. And what led into Christmas Carnage, which we never got to see, me just brawling with Ryan in the actual brawl itself, and then eliminating Ryan straight away. And so the storyline itself was built up well. I think it was only 4 matches. The actual storyline itself was only 4 matches. But working with Ryan is just so different from working with anyone else. I will say that he's top 3 people to wrestle. Chaos is second, DJ's first, and then Ice is a close 4th coming in the end. But just to work with, it's my first proper feud I had ever. First proper feud you've ever had, and no offense to Ice, but just looking back, the nostalgia about it, I feel so much for my feud with Ryan. It's literally the best thing I've done in wrestling. It's better than winning the title. There's just so much emotion in the feuds. It was back when I had no knowledge about wrestling, and I think when you don't know as much, you appreciate it more for some reason. As soon as you join a professional company or you learn a little bit about the ins and outs of wrestling, you lose that little bit of passion, because I think some of the passion comes from not knowing what's actually going on behind the scenes. And at this stage, I didn't know shit. I was just going out there, brawling with Ryan pretty much, because that's what it was. And I had so much fun facing him.
And it did
just
produce
so much
great
fun.
results. So from Revenge, the next show is Christmas Carnage.
Yep.
You have, from what I can remember, is the only Tables of Hell match that's taken place in WZWA.
Which actually turned into a normal tables match, because we did have 3 tables
correct,
for it.
Yes. But you face Chaos. Basically, you're just chiming in to do what Dark Ice was going to do and wrestle Chaos at this show.
Yep.
Bit of a shame that we lose the footage of the whole event, but let's talk about the last spot of the match where you go through the double table. Was it pretty scary?
Yeah, it was. Got pretty scary to begin with, but when you... Afterwards, it wasn't scary, because you've already done it, obviously.
Yeah.
But afterwards, it was, I'm pretty sure Yes, at that show, my dad was there as well. My dad said to me after the match that he wanted to get in the ring and kick the shit out of Chaos. That just shows you what sort of match it was. Unfortunately, we'll never get to see it back, because we lost all the footage from that show. But to go through, the only person to go through 2 tables, it was off the top rope to the outside as well. That's what ended the match.
Yeah.
We were at the point where we were becoming really known for the hardcore stuff we were doing around the world.
We were all really just going out there.
We were going out there being crazy. This is before light tubes had been introduced as well. So we weren't having to try and outdo some of the crazy shit that Dan Zeppelin and Jacob did. We're not trying to outdo that. We're just trying to outdo what had already been done. And what had already been done was outdoable. Now it got to a point where everyone was just almost killing themselves trying to outdo each other, which is why I'm so glad the hardcore's been dialed back. But in that match with Chaos, he beat the shit out of me. Literally, just laid it right in, more... Okay, I liked it when Ryan laid it in. When Chaos laid it in, it was fuck, man, you're hurting me. There's 2 differences of laying in there. And the double table spot itself got such a huge pop, and everyone's oh shit. But the table breaks your fall. Like, you know, it would have hurt more just landing on the ground.
Yeah.
But the visual image of going through 2 tables on the outside, it was brilliant. It's never happened again in WZWA yet. But it was a good match. I'm just disappointed I never got to see it back.
Yeah.
Really, you know, not really much I can say there.
Yep. So the next show is Resolution 1, the biggest show we've ever had to date. And of course we open the show. Well, I don't know if we open the show, but we have the first part of your feud with Ryan on the show. You did open with Access All Areas with Alex Stone. He interviewed you about your problems.
It was
with Ryan
EQG
Tate
versus
Papacito.
El Papacito, which was the opener, but I don't consider that the opener. I consider that just a filler to begin of the show. Ryan and I were the opener. Like, that was the pre-show. We opened the show. That was also when I put a hole through Noel's fucking veranda curtain, which he wasn't too happy about.
No, okay.
So I got hip tossed onto the cage pieces that we had.
Yeah.
And then as it fell down, it put a hole through the fucking curtain in the veranda. And that's the biggest thing I remember of that. But the Resolution, like,
the promo and Access All Areas gains a bit.
No, that's wrong. That was the match afterwards. Sorry, the Resolution match was when I called Lily. Forgive me, Lily. A walrus. You know, before the show. That was such an intense moment, like, and that's what really set the tone, was Access All Areas for the match. That's what set the tone, was the bit I turned into. I got so much heat. I don't think anyone's ever drawn more heat than what I did when I made that statement. Like, you were sitting in the corner of the ring, and as I make that statement, you go, "Oh, for fuck's sake, why did I give this dickhead the mic?"
Why did I give him a live microphone?
Why would I give this dickhead a microphone? You know, and like, I feel horrible now in hindsight about it. Like, you know, it wasn't the right thing to do, but in the context of what it created, it was brilliant. You know, I come out and fucking Ryan clotheslines me straight away, just takes my head off. Like, and it knocked me out, by the way. When they clotheslined me, I slipped because the grass was wet, and I hit my head on the ground. That's why when Ryan's pulling me up,
I hate getting clotheslined
when Ryan's pulling me up, I'm actually dizzy as fuck. That he dead weighted me, picked me up, and then Lily just comes in and gives me the most brutal chop, second most brutal chop I've ever taken, second to Ice's, and just comes in and goes crack, crunch straight across the chest, and boom, the match starts. We go out there, have a slobber knocker of a match. And it really sets the tone for the respect, because I went over in that match. I beat Ryan.
Yeah.
I win.
One apiece now.
I'm cocky as a motherfucker. You know, fuck you. I eliminated you from the Battlefield Brawl last year. I've now beaten you again at Resolution, the biggest show of the year. Like, you don't deserve my respect. Who cares? And that's what led into the respect match.
And Aftershock, which is an event name that you came up with.
Yes, it was.
I think I was just asking people for some ideas, and I liked Aftershock, so we did it. Respect match between you and Ryan Tate. If Ryan won, you got 10 lashings with the kendo stick from Lila. So your thoughts and memories on the match, and also, what does Ryan Tate mean to the WZWA career of Rex Regum?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say about that match is, like, fuck you, Tim, and fuck you, Low. That match fucking pissed me off so much, because the planning of the match that I had with Ryan was, you're going to come out, the Black Carnival theme's going to hit.
I'm sorry, I've forgotten something, haven't I?
Have you?
I don't know how I missed this. I wrote it down and I fucking missed it. Let's scale back. I'm sorry. The Black Carnival.
Oh, the formation.
Stable.
The
Shit,
formation.
I didn't read it. I need to fucking snap out of it. The Black Carnival forms during the show at the expense of Three Dog.
Yes.
Who, hurt Dark Ice in the Battlefield Brawl match by throwing him out of.
And he fucking fractured his hip. Yes, yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about the Black Carnival forming. I love this moment. I thought this was an awesome way to introduce the Black Carnival. All the Mexicans.
The biggest thing...
all the Japanese guys.
The biggest thought that I have about that is that I should have fucking hit Aaron harder with a chair shot.
You look like
it was
pretty much missed.
It was the pussiest chair shot. It looked like I missed. And then I'll take... No, I don't take off my shoe. I did that against Ryan. I took off my shoe, the big heel on the shoe, and smack him over the head with
gotcha,
it. Yeah. No, and then I put Aaron in the crossface during that segment. But when the Black Carnival forms, just all of the masked cunts standing in front of us, hanging over the ropes, and then just being nice with our arms around each other.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just such a glorious moment in the history of WZWA.
It is.
Just
it's like, one of my favourite moments.
You've got Dark Iced, like, and now a GBYWN Hall of Famer. Yeah, me, the co-founder of WZWA, joining with Ice, and then we've got all of these little masked cunts to do our bidding for us. You know,
it was formed basically because Ice couldn't wrestle, so you didn't have to do all the wrestling.
And I think at this stage you wanted the masked characters to be taken seriously.
Yeah, I did.
You wanted them, but it never worked out like that.
No, it didn't
never
work
taken
out.
seriously.
It was never going to happen. But
yeah, but you wanted them to be taken seriously, so you're like, I'll give all the masked characters something to do by just chucking them all into this one stable.
But I think when the roster numbers grew, it was like their importance was slowly but surely being pushed, to the side. But I love that first incarnation of the Black Carnival, first incarnation of the group of U2, Esqueleto, Scream, the Great Shinigami, Yoshiaki. I thought it was a pretty cool dynamic there. And so from there, let's get back to Aftershock, the Respect match. What were you pissed off at Tim and Low over?
Okay, alright. They jumped into the match like 5 times. They were only supposed to jump in at the beginning. Like, there'd be times where Ryan and
because they're doing Shinigami and Scream.
Yeah,
that's right. They kept on fucking getting
they kept on jumping in the ring and beating down Ryan. And I'm like, there was one point where we were in the double down, and then they jump in with the trash can, and I'm like, set up the trash can and do a spot with Ryan. I'm thinking to myself, I was like, I called a double down for me and Ryan because we were both exhausted. I was like, let's just double down, catch our breath, and then go back into it. And these two fucking masked faggots. Oh my, for fuck's sake. And there was like 2 other times where they just jumped in randomly, and it just fucked the whole flow of the matchup. It's like, and I know it was Tim calling it as well, because Tim would go over and just into Low and just like whisper in his ear like, oh, we should do this or we should do that. It's like, cunt, you're not in the match. Fucking
typical Tim tries to make it about him when it's about 2 other people.
And Tim, I love you, baby. Like, this was back at a different stage. We're talking like 2-3 years ago now, so don't take offence to it.
He won't. He's probably not listening.
Probably not.
But you have talked a bit about Ryan Tate and what he means to Rex Regum. But any last thoughts on your run with Ryan and what his his influence?
I know it was about respect, the whole feud, but Ryan earned my respect during that feud. Before it, I kind of thought that, he was a nice dude, but he's kind of like that strange sort of guy that could never look you in the eye when you talk to him and stuff. And obviously, in hindsight, the reasons why. Yeah. But beforehand, it was a bit sketch on the guy himself. But this is right at the beginning. There's no huge friendships truly being formed between the WZWA guys and the ICWS guys. So I think the feud really elevated my position within the boys themselves. Not a position, but maybe the involvement with the boys. And Ryan earned my respect definitely for a fierce competitor and a brilliant opponent to face. And he also really showed me what I was capable of as a wrestler as well. When you verse someone who was of that sort of intensity and that caliber at the time we were, it brings you up to another level. It's like when people talk about facing Shawn Michaels in WWE. It's like it brought them up. It brought them up to another. They had to come up to his level in order to be there. So Even if I think the same could be said with me versus Steel, if you know what I mean. Steel had to sort of come up to my level in order
rise to the occasion.
Rise to the occasion. Yeah, definitely.
Gotcha.
So, that's sort of what it was.
Cool. Alright, well that's cool. The next show was Wham Bam Body Slam. Do you like the name Wham Bam Body Slam for an event?
And better than anything Schwartz come up with.
Alright, okay, at least I got some positivity out of that. Ryan likes it, you like it, and that's about it. You wrestle Mykonos in a singles match. You pick up the victory over Mykonos, and then I don't know what leads to it, but then there's a tag team match with you and Shinigami against Mykonos.
I remember why. It's because Mitch was angry about losing to me. He didn't want to lose to me, so he went to you and was like, I don't want to lose. He wanted to get one back. Exactly, he wanted to get one back. And I think this is during the stage where Mitch threatened to you 5 times in a row that he was going to leave in order to get his own way.
Man, I was like, I don't know what you're so upset over. You had a sweet title reign. You had 2 great feuds. Then you told me you want Then you defended the title against Elcano and Clint Marshall at Resolution. Great match. You defended your championship against the 2 previous title holders.
Oh, yeah.
And then, this isn't good enough for me. I want to leave. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what else to give you, man.
Oh.
So he drops the belt to Dynamo. And then, you know, I'm figuring he's on his way out. He's going to put some people over, but then he decided he wanted to do a tag team with Aaron, so then that changed again.
Yeah, so
man, it was... even Mitch will agree he was just so difficult to deal with.
Well, the match with Mykonos, the match with Mykonos, which led to me tagging with Shinigami against Mitch and Aaron, was pretty much that the continuation of the feud with Black Carnival and Mitch and Aaron, because Aaron had obviously thrown ice out of the Brotherhood Brawl. There's a little bit of a feud going on there beforehand, and I think that's where the match came from. Not only that, but I'm pretty sure I've been pestering you to face him as well. Like, fuck, this guy's awesome. Like, I want to face him. Like, pretty much, I thought of Mitch as like the Shawn Michaels at that point. Like, I have to face this guy. I have to like prove that I'm at his level.
He was wrestling really, really well.
I've never seen Mitch have a bad match. Like, he's never had a bad match.
He's so negative of himself as well.
I find the people that are the best to be honest. Like, they're always criticizing themselves. Like, for example, Burr with the dinner tonight. Like, I could have added this. Or I could have added that. It's like it's perfect enough, you know. But like it's the same thing. There's like people who create something brilliant always turn around and like criticize it, going, "Oh, it could have been better here, could have been better there." It's just something that happens with them. But my match with Mykonos was fucking awesome. It was the first time I didn't have to call everything for one. You know, I just sat there and took the back seat in the match. It was awesome. You know, only that, but I feel like besides Barrett, I'm the only person of the caliber of technical skill and knowledge to be able to pull off a technical match with Mitch. Like that, where we're actually able to chain for a decent amount of time without doing the same thing.
Gotcha.
I think DJ would be able to do it, but his body doesn't allow him to do half of the kip-ups and rolls and all that sort of thing that is required to chain perfectly. But I thought it was a good match. I was glad to get the victory. I think the tag match could have gone a little bit better psychology-wise, because before the match, Tim was like, I want to start off in the ring with Mitch. I turned around and I'm like, why would Mitch start the match when he's just had a match with me? You know, but Tim got his own way anyway.
So Mitch started the match.
Yeah, Mitch started the match with Tim.
Fuck's sake, Tim.
But you know,
just getting his own way, even though it makes less sense.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles. But the singles match was brilliant. The tag match was okay. And other than that, I just wish maybe I did more with Mitch, because I did a lot with Aaron. Like, I fucking almost broke my neck facing Aaron in one match. So But with Mykonos, I'm pretty sure I've only faced him
just the
once.
One time.
Yeah, just the one time, and then that's it.
Yep. So hard time. I don't know if you make hard time to day one.
No, I don't. I was actually grounded.
Okay, that's right. That's why I've only got here hard time 2 day 2. You wrestle 3 dog in a lumberjack match.
Yes,
a Black Carnival lumberjack match.
Yes.
So I can't remember who wins. I think 3 dog wins.
Yeah, 3 dog wins.
3 dogs win-loss record was incredible this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's it like working with like at the time I guess you consider a super heavyweight like 3 dog?
I thought it was interesting. At this point, I really did have like the psychology down pat to have a brilliant match with Aaron. But the overall flow was good. I think it continued our feud. The Black Carnival Legion, or whatever their tag team was called, feud. I think it was Legion. And really, there's not much to say besides we had a match. It continued the feud, and that was it. Like, really, it doesn't resound in my mind.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, the match that. Wait, I'm trying to think now, because I can't remember if it was this match that I did the moonsault off the scaffolding. It was the other singles match that I had with Aaron. I really cannot remember.
Oh,
because what is this, hard time? No, hard time. Yes, it was. Is
this the match you do the moonsault?
Yes, this is the match I did the moonsault. I'm pretty sure it is. Wasn't it a night show?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it was. It was. Yeah, because. Yeah, because I
did a moonsault off the scaffold and it didn't go. So
no, yes, I'm thinking of the other match I had with Aaron. Oh no, that was the three-way I'm thinking of. Yeah, no, sorry, the singles match. Oh man, I'm pretty sure that was the same event that Jacob faced Kale. Oh, I'm sorry, not
Jacob
faced Ice.
I can't remember.
Either way, I had to go out there because some other pricks had like an awesome match. So as soon as someone has an awesome match, I instantly think to myself, "Fuck these cunts! I have to outdo them." You know, I don't know why, but so I end up almost killing myself in that match. Like I legitimately could have. It was like the scaffolding was like 8 foot off the ground. I do the moonsault off there. Nobody catches me. I end up like peleing Aaron in the head, which knocks him out. He's out cold, and then I land on my head. You know,
yeah.
And then I called the match at that point, and I throw Aaron in the ring, and I'm like, how is Aaron going to pin me? So I end up fucking taking the choke bomb onto a bunch of different shit, and then he wins the match.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
like now I remember, it's like it was so hard hitting and just pure brutality, and the Black Carnival Lumberjacks weren't exactly the best Lumberjacks we've ever had.
No,
but it worked for the match itself. I think maybe more planning was required from like a collective plan with the people involved in the Black Carnival, Aaron and myself.
Yeah.
I think that like we really needed to
That
go.
would've helped.
Like we need some spots with the Lumberjacks. We need some spots without, you know. But the overall match in my mind was quite good.
Okay. So after that, I believe the feud between Legion and Black Carnival finally ends. As after this match, I believe Dark Ice and Three Dog had a non-sanctioned fight.
Yeah.
So after that, a feud between you and, at the time known as Dynamo, begins. You guys have a match in the GBYWN Hardcore Title Tournament, and it is at Autumn Brawl. So memories on that first match with Monet. Was this the one where people were saying that it was really stiff?
Yes, this is the match where Ice gets up halfway through the match, comes over to Monet and whispers in his ear, "If you don't stop stiffing each other, I'm going to beat the shit out of both of you," which kills the whole flow of the match. We came out there and we were tearing the house down. People are screaming, "Oh shit!" from fucking every direction, like thinking that we're killing each other when in reality we are hitting each other so lightly we're barely even feeling it. Like,
Would you say you and Monet have good chemistry?
yes, I would say that Monet and I have good chemistry. Oh, it's difficult to say because we'd basically, at this point, WZWA had only been going for just under a year. Just under a year, about 10, 11 months. So just under a year. So at this stage, like, we're not too far gone from the trampoline era where we were facing each other 3 times on one Saturday. So, like, you know, for us to have chemistry is not too difficult. It's the same with Jacob and the same with Jack. Like, I'm 90% sure that you could throw any 4 of us in a match with any other person,
any kind of way.
Yeah, and we'll be able to pull off something, you know. And it's just, I wouldn't say it's because like we just click, but yes, I think it would say it's because we click to a degree. But the majority of it is that we just versed each other like fucking just so many times over and over again that we just know each other so well. We know exactly what's coming. You don't have to talk to each other. You can just hit something and boom, they're going to bump it perfectly. You're going to know what they're hitting, you know. Because in reality, our movesets really haven't expanded so much. We've just changed everything a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, so it's all pretty similar to what we were doing back on the trampoline era, except we're just more crisp, better at the bumps, and just little variations on what we were already doing. So Monet is like, he's a top bloke. He's a bit of a fucking dickhead when he wants to be. Retarded cunt. But no, he's
all be dickheads.
He's a top bloke, and he's one of the people who, like, if you're in the middle of a match with him and he feels like it's not going the right way, he instantly changes gears. He's able to just drop that clutch and just go boom.
All right, we need to do something else
I'm
now.
just going to fishtail up this road now and fucking be a sick cunt.
Okay.
You know, just his match with Nick. There was a point there where like the match was dying down, and then out of nowhere, just gyro kick kills Nick. And
Yeah.
boom. You know, the match is back. Everyone's got everyone's attention straight
everyone's
away.
invested again.
Yeah.
So from there, we get... so basically, you're slightly involved in the storyline between Jack trying to gain back the trust of Dynamo to reform their tag team, because I had attempted Jack in a singles heel run and it did not go very well at all. So I was like, the best thing we should do is we should get you guys back together and have a proper run as a team. I think it'll be better for Jack. So anyway... Long story short, 3-way last man standing match at Circus of Pain. Never been done before. Not from my knowledge anyway. I know there's been last man standing matches, but I don't believe there's been a 3-way last man standing match where you got to get 2 people out for a 10 count. So I thought this was a pretty cool match between you 3. And I thought it was a pretty cool... just a cool dynamic, especially with the end of the match. What are your thoughts?
Who won?
Monet retained the title.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about this match, but it's like a biggest mental blank at the moment.
If you can't remember, that's fine. We could move on to the next part.
Yeah, no, I really can't remember.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So from there, we move forward to Jim's Yarding. So now we've totally got into this feud now between the franchise and the Black Carnival.
Well, yeah.
So initially, the franchise are going to be going over in this match, but Dark Ice says no.
Yeah.
Thinks that you guys should win. And in the end, it didn't really matter who won or lost.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on your first ever... I think was it the only ever tag team match you and I
this is the only tag match.
Yeah.
We had like a year and a half as a team together and only tagged once. You know, but that's just the way we only have 12 fucking events a year. We only have 6 events a year now.
You get so many
you know, so like this,
yeah.
you can only work so much into a storyline.
Yeah.
Without it just becoming repetitive. But I thought that match was awesome. I didn't really care who won it. It was Ice who wanted to go over. I think that it probably would have made more sense for Jack and Luke to win because it was their first event back together. But oh well. The biggest issue I had with this match was like the weather. It was fucking the ring was drenched. It was almost like wrestling in a swimming pool.
It was.
God,
shit. One part of the year, every year, we have to deal with this shit. You know?
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
And then I remember Ice. There was a spot where Ice was going to throw Jack onto Luke onto the outside, and Jack the fuckwit grabbed hold of Ice's singlet and ended up falling short of Luke and busted up his ankle.
That's a running theme with Jack.
He just busted up his ankle, and it was like that was almost like pretty much the end of the match. Like Luke was in the rest of the match, and then the one time that Jack got tagged in, he hits his finisher and then fucking just screams out in his pain because his ankle's fucking sore. So like, if that one thing didn't happen, it would have been such an amazing match.
I think sometimes when
brilliant, but you know, there's just.
I think sometimes when you go for a big spot and you commit 80% to the spot, there's more chance you're going to hurt yourself unless you just go for it.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you just go for it, yeah,
you can hurt yourself.
It's because you're not. Because if you think that you're going to hurt yourself, you're going to hurt yourself straight away. That's pretty much wrestling. And you know, if Jack didn't like the spot, he should have spoke up. He should have gone, maybe we should try it this way, or we should try it that way. Because in wrestling, you can't really turn.
But he can have a habit
that.
of saying, "I'm going to do the spot," and then when the time comes to do the spot, he's like, "Oh shit, I think it's
him trying to prove himself as well to a degree, you know. But safety first. That's the biggest issue.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with wanting to prove yourself, but safety first.
Safety, yeah. Oh, improving yourself and doing a big spot are two completely different things. You know, working a match around spots, trying to get pops is completely different. I refuse to work around spots now. Like Jacob was pissed off at me today because I refused to just plan fuck all with him, and I explained to him why after the match because I knew he'd agree with me. But you know, when you're sitting there and you're being a spot monkey, which a lot of people do in the pros, they just fucking try and do hectic shit to try and get the crowd to pop. Yeah. That's not how you work a match. If you make it super fucking boring, right? And everyone's bored as fuck. As soon as they hear that bang, as soon as they hear that bump of the mat, you've instantly got their attention again. They're instantly like, fuck, something big happened.
Yeah.
I missed it because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
That's how you get the crowd involved, is by just boring the fuck out of them and then hitting something big. That's how you get the crowd involved.
Okay, so let's talk about Frostbite, the very next show. In one fell swoop, the Black Carnivore at the top of the war zone.
I have to say this is one of my favourite matches as well.
And this has to be probably one of your favourite events as a member of the Black Carnival, because they
finally.
I mean, before we get to the Aussie title match, I just love that, you know, that graphic at the end of the show. I believe it's you, Ice, Esqueleto, and Scream. I think us four are in the ring. I can't quite remember, but there's us four in the ring. You guys got the titles, and it's really a good moment for Black Carnival. And you know, Black Carnival are very underrated as a stable, I believe, because it was kind of overshadowed with that Elite Alliance thing. Always
the Elite Alliance,
the Elite
Rebellion
Alliance thing, and the Rebellion thing, and there's so much going on. But anyway, your Aussie title match with Monet for the Aussie title. You win the championship, so finally all of your hard work is paid off. You and I are getting along, and I book you to win the championship. So how does it feel to win your first legitimate championship?
Okay, this is going to be a disappointment, but like, when I won it, I was thinking of like this swoop of emotion would come over me, but like it didn't. Like when I won it, I felt the same as before.
Really? So you didn't feel like, I did this?
No, like strangely, I was expecting when I won the match. Like
that's something I've learned.
Before the match, I was expecting like the emotion to hit me after I'd won it. Like when I get to 1, 2, 3, I was expecting like when I held the match, like you know the whole like oh my god, like finally. But
do you feel it's because you've been too fixated on the WZWA title that maybe winning the Aussie title just didn't seem to mean too much to you?
Actually, at that point of time, probably, yeah. I think at that not now. It probably wouldn't. It wouldn't matter so much to me. I really don't care anymore about winning titles. It's more about like the fact that we still are able to wrestle. That's what I care about more at the moment.
That's a pretty big component right now.
You know, but back then it was still sort of like we were getting along more, but I was still in your ear going, I should be champion. Fuck all these other cons. You know. And when I won the GBYWN Australian Championship, it was I was expecting, I was like waiting for the moment of emotion to sweep over me, but it didn't. I won the match, and the resolution weekend, I felt more emotion about being champion then than when I actually won the title. When I won the title, it was sort of like,
cool. Is there any way that you can pinpoint what it is that didn't give you that emotion? Do you know what it was? You can't figure it out?
You just can't figure it out, man. It's like, before the match happened, I knew I was winning it. Like, I knew this was happening.
You were pumped.
I was like, yes, sick, cool, I'm going to win. And then when I won it, I was like, okay, I've got a piece of cardboard now.
Yeah.
You know, I know that sounds really bad. Like it does sound bad, but that's the reality of the situation. Is that everyone that I've ever spoken to talks about that first time they win that championship, they get swooped with emotion, feeling of accomplishment, and I was expecting that. I was waiting for the fucking tsunami of emotion to come crashing and engulf me, and nothing happened. It was like it was a huge letdown for me as well. Like I was expecting to grab the championship, hold it, look down at it like it's my firstborn child, and just go and just collapse in the middle of it.
Your Kurt Angle moment.
You know, but no, it wasn't. It was like almost like Ric Flair had retired again. You know, it was. I've never understood that the ending, the feeling I had after the match, which was like no feeling whatsoever. I've never understood it. I wanted to be like going, oh God, like this is like fucking Bob Hawke winning the Prime Ministership after spending 17 years out of fucking Parliament, you know. That's what I thought the feeling would be like, you know, but it wasn't. Gotcha. It was like fucking John Howard losing the election.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Well, before we end part 1, I just want to ask you about what do Jack Wallace and Luke Monet mean to the career of Rex Regum?
Without Jack Wallace, and by extension Luke Monet, there's no WZWA straight away. we wouldn't be having this conversation right now if it weren't for those two.
I probably wouldn't even have a podcast.
No, you wouldn't. Probably not.
I wouldn't have had any of those conversations.
None of this shit would have happened. Nothing would have happened except for these series of events that had to specifically happen for this conversation to be taking part right now.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the God complex when people talk about the way the universe was created. Like, why is it such a specific series of events? It has to have intervention, but it just happened that way. That this is the way the cookie crumbles. People is that like I messaged Jack. We became friends. We found out that we both like wrestling. Luke played footy with Jack. That's how it started. And if Luke didn't play footy, if Jack wasn't dating Chloe Koski, if my poppy wasn't my poppy, none of this would happen. It's dumbfounding.
If my poppy didn't turn onto the channel the first time he saw wrestling and turn it onto a different channel,
yeah. If he put the girls of the Playboy Mansion on, or something like that, I'd be a fucking porn star, not the wrestler.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's what they mean. Like you've accomplished things because you met them, and because of that, the butterfly effect, I guess you call it.
Oh, the ripple effect.
The ripple effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Straight away. The grain of sand was dropped into the water, and the ripple turned into a tsunami.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Well, we'll end it on that note.
Awesome. I need to chuck a piss anyway.
Yes, me too. And I think you need to get another drink.
Yep.
So thank you, Rex. I usually do the handshake after each part. Thank you, Rex. That was part 1. ABW, EBW, ICWS, and I would call that the first half of Rex Regum's WZWA career here on the GBYWN Australia podcast. Thank you for listening. We'll be with you for part 2 for the rest of Rex Regum's career before doing a part 3 Q&A. So thank you for listening, and we will speak to you all next time.